he is head of marketing from Wonga. And before I welcome him, he made the statement that I just want to read. He says, with all the deals to be had on Black Friday, there is always temptation to break your budget. However, many shoppers report regret, stress, and serious financial consequences after spending more than they can afford. So let us welcome him. Hi, James. Good afternoon and welcome to the Fastlane.
Hi, Zanella and team. Thanks very much for having me on.
Yes, Mr. Bond, James Williams.
So, all right. Look, we just want to welcome you and we're excited because it's almost Black Friday and we know that most people are excited. Some have saved, some they haven't. But speaking to someone like you, who's an expert, we also want to find out how important is it for us to have financial discipline during that time, because sometimes advertising is designed to make us spend more than we actually have.
Sure, that's a great question, Zanella. So I think, if you're able to practice financial discipline around Black Friday, it means that, you'll go into the Christmas period and 2023 in a much more stable financial position than you would if you weren't able to practice that self-control. And I think, with Black Friday being around the corner and the festive season kicking off soon as well, financial discipline is critical, especially, off the back of all of the increases that we've seen in the cost of living recently, and also with the increases in inflation. So falling into the trap of buying non-essential items, and look, this can happen to all of us. You get tempted by the latest special or the deal that you see on Black Friday, can be a tricky one to navigate. And also, I think an important note is to keep in mind that retailers have intentionally created a false sense of urgency around Black Friday to almost rush you into completing purchasing without really necessarily giving it proper thought. So you'll note that, you were speaking earlier on the show about them extending the period of Black Friday. Some places do it for the whole month, others for a week, but still there are some that only focus on a 24-hour period. And I think that is designed to almost set your mind into the sense of, I need to go and grab that TV and I need to do it now before the time expires. And in doing that, it could cloud your judgment in terms of whether that purchase makes financial sense or not. And I think, also talking to the point around online purchasing, our recent research that we've done here at Wonga shows that 26% of people over this festive season will do all of their Christmas shopping online. And I'm sure you guys know this, but it is so easy these days to complete an online transaction with just a few clicks of a button. Before you know it, you've got a full shopping basket. You're sitting at checkout, and it's a simple click, and you've paid, and you've moved on. And this sort of ease of use can almost be detrimental to your budgeting efforts.
Sure.
Just on that, in relation to previous years, what has that increase been? You're seeing that it's at 26% now.
Yeah. So the last time, so we run the survey every year, and we've run it for the last 5 years. Prior to the COVID period, it was below the 17% mark, and we've seen it climb significantly each year. Obviously, the biggest jump came in the 2020 year when COVID was at its peak, and with lockdown, people were forced towards transacting online. So I think last year's figure was around 22%, and this year we're seeing it at 26%, and that's for people that will do all of their Christmas shopping online, without having to go to the shops and stand in a queue and so on.
Wow.
So, before approaching this season and, as we're going into it, and actually we're at the beginning of it, can you talk us through your 7 money saving tips for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the upcoming festive season?
For sure. So I think, for one, starting off with online shopping, avoid buying more to save on delivery fees. So often the additional cost of unnecessary items just to hit that free delivery threshold. So whether it be, I don't know, spend 1,000 Rand to get free delivery, what you might find is the costs of that actually outweigh the original delivery charges that you would have paid just on that single item that you needed. I think that's the starting point. And then at tip number 2 is plan your purchases and avoid the temptation to add additional items to your basket on the way to checkout. So this applies both online and in store. And you'll notice an array of special offers all trying to grab your attention as you're on your way to checkout, both in store and online, as mentioned. And these are often low cost, smaller items, but they can be very tempting, which they quickly can add up to a big amount of money. Then coming in at number 3 is price comparison. So sometimes that promoted special may not be that different to the usual retail price. And I think you were discussing this a little earlier. And this is particularly true of items that we don't necessarily purchase regularly. So we don't have a good gauge of what that item usually costs. Like an example of this could be unusual kitchen gadgets that you wouldn't usually have in your shopping basket. But because there's a sign on it that says 40% off, it looks extremely attractive. But then you have to ask yourself, what was the original non-discounted price of this item to begin with? And then for the 4th tip, this is around staying energized to avoid decision fatigue. So when you're at the mall and you're walking up and down endless aisle after aisle of specials, it's difficult to stay focused and stay on track. Making multiple purchase decisions one after the other over and over again can be mentally draining. And what you might start doing is finding yourself taking the easiest route and just being encouraged by those discounted prices and putting things in your trolley which may not necessarily be needed. And the way around this is, draw up a concise shopping list to start off and ensure that you stick to it. And then coming in at number 5, this is don't fall for the word free. And again, retailers use retailers use a lot of clever advertising, which can sometimes cloud our judgment. So you'll often see buy 2 get 1 free special, which at face value sounds like a great deal. But you have to ask yourself, is this, again, an item that I really, really need? Or is it something that I'm just buying because it seems like a good deal because I'm getting something for free?
True.
Yeah. And then in at number 6, where you can, try and pay with cash or money that you actually have. So research shows that when you're shopping using a credit card, where you don't see the rands and cents coming off your bank balance, the costs of items can feel far less tangible than when you're paying with a debit card or paying in cash. And the other thing to keep in mind is shopping on credit for items that are wants rather than needs can also lead you down the path of sort of a debt spiral. And the costs of servicing that debt in the long term often outweigh the purchase price of that item. Yeah. And then the last of the 7 tips, and probably the most important one, is around creating a budget and sticking to it. And I think this doesn't only apply to Black Friday, but at any time in the year. But specifically for Black Friday, what you should be looking to do is putting down your budget plan in writing and trying to keep that with you when you are shopping. So have it on your phone, have it on a notepad, somewhere that you can easily reference it. And this way you'll have a clear idea of the money you have budgeted for various items and gives you a good guidance in terms of what you should be putting in your trolley or adding to your shopping cart or not. So I think overall, the theme throughout all of those tips and the key to having a good Black Friday and festive season is trying to avoid spending beyond your means and keeping a tight handle on your budget. And, if you are able to practice that, then, going into the festive season and into the new year, you're not going to get caught short.
I just want to say I absolutely love number 4 because normally when you it's so true. Like when you are out in the malls, you might be dehydrated, or and then it's like your cognitive abilities isn't as sharp as it normally would be. And I think this, like back in the days, they always used to say before you go eat out, first eat something, a salmi or a sandwich at home, then you go out, because then you avoid the whole overspending or buying too much. So I absolutely love that tip. Number 6, I think, is a real challenge, because I find that we currently conditioned to carry less cash on us. What would you help? What kind of tip would you give just to mitigate, like, being caught off guard like that?
Yeah, so I think you don't have to actually carry physical cash with you, but
Mm.
what could be useful is linking your phone or having your mobile phone in your pocket when you are shopping on your debit card, so that you do get a notification as you're spending, and you can see your balance trickling down as you purchase more and more items. So it gives you that tangible feeling of, I'm actually using up money in my bank account, and this is costing me money. Whereas with a credit card, that's not always the case. You only
Mm.
realize how much you've spent once you see your
Correct
credit card
statement.
statement at the end of the month, and then you realize,
Ah,
wow, I really have overstretched here.
yeah. Or send the notifications to your wife.
Oh my word.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but
Thank you.
I absolutely love the tips. But I know you've also got a money academy. Maybe tell us more about the money academy.
Sure. So, as part of our ethos of being a responsible lender, we've built out the Money Academy, which is Wonga's no-cost online financial literacy platform. So the idea here is to enable people to better manage their personal finances. And we've structured it to cover off the four pillars of personal finance. Those are namely savings, budgeting, debt, and investing. And these are condensed into short, punchy, video based tutorials and quizzes, so that you can work through these at your own pace in little bite sized chunks, and you can learn more about each of those four pillars. And the hope is that, this will enable people to be able to manage their personal finances better. And if you'd like to go and take a look at that, you can visit moneyacademy.coza, or also follow the Wonga blog at wonga.coza for additional financial tips and financial well-being.
That's amazing. And I think we should all be follow. I mean, the tips were amazing. I think for me, it was the one that when they say to you, buy two, get one free.
The
You've
free.
just left with three things that you don't need. You came in wanting to buy one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's it.
truly been very enlightening, Mr. James, Mr. Williams. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us and just giving us this. We actually have a comment coming in from Ruth saying, I love the sound advice. So thank you so much for sharing those tips with us and those things that we should look out for, like the word free.
On
And
E.
we just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to chat with us.
Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you so much, James.